please be upstanding if you are able. Her Excellency, the Honourable Dame Susan Glazer, Administrator of New Zealand.
Be seated. E nā mana, e nā reo, e nā iwi o nā hoe whā. Tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koto. Nō mai haere mai rā ki te whare kāwana, ki ora tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, as you may know, our Governor-General, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kiro, is representing New Zealand at the state funeral for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth in London. I am proud to serve as the Administrator of the Government in Dame Cindy's absence. On behalf of the Governor-General, I warmly welcome you all to Government House for this very special investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge our kaumātua, Mr. Joe Harawira, and our kuia, Ms. Ranui Narimu. Today's recipients of royal honours are amongst the last to receive Her Majesty's approval, and it seems only fitting that you can be invested with your insignia this week. Today's ceremony celebrates and affirms qualities cherished in our communities, qualities Queen Elizabeth herself embodied throughout her life: selflessness, strength, and aroha. As we reflect on Queen Elizabeth's life of steadfast service, I invite you all to join with me in observing a moment's silence in honour of Her Majesty. Thank you. Ms. Catriona MacLeod will now summon the recipients and read their citations, and after each recipient is honoured, I invite you all to join with me in congratulating them in the normal way.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Knight Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Sir Hugh Rennie of Wellington, for services to governance, the law, business and the community. Sir Hugh Rennie has been a leading Queen's Counsel since 1995 and has worked with major companies and government agencies since the late 1960s. Sir Hugh's aviation, medical and energy work included chairing the 1998 inquiry into the Auckland power supply failure. His pro bono and community work has covered the arts, science and sport. He chaired the Royal New Zealand Ballet from 1999 to 2003, was a trustee of Theatre Arts Charitable Trust from 1997 to 2013, and chaired the Policy Committee of the Dictionary of New Zealand Biography from 1991 to 2000. His many years working for the Chatham Islands community included being inaugural chair of the Chatham Islands Enterprise Trust from 1990 to 2001. He was New Zealand Counsel to the Medical Protection Society United Kingdom from 1983 to 2012, and a member of the Scientific Committee of the National Heart Foundation from 1988 to 1994. He was a director of the New Zealand Institute of Chartered Accountants from 2009 until it merged into Chartered Accountants Australia-New Zealand in 2014, then chairing its New Zealand Regulatory Board from 2015 to 2017. Since 1992, he's been a director of Fletcher Challenge, Bank of New Zealand, and Fisher & Paykel Finance, and chaired the Marketplace Co-Group from 1999 to 2010. Sir Hugh has delivered seminars nationally and internationally, and his publications include the 2020 book, A Business Revolution, the first 2 decades of National Business Review, 1970 to 1991. Sir Hugh Rennie, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Les Lehi Tenise Atone of Porirua for services to the Tokelau community. Les Lehi Tenise Atoni is president of the Atafu Tokolau community. He led the development of their first organizational strategic plan, Te Kanava, through which they developed a Tokolau language application, hosted meetings with the administrator of Tokolau on supporting developments in Tokolau, hosted community engagements in partnership with government organizations, and successfully campaigned for government support to develop Nganganga, Tokolau, and Vangahau Nue languages as NCEA subjects. Mr. Atone is the co-project leader for the Tokolau Kayanga Wellbeing Strategic Plan, a founding member of the Tokolau Wellington Leadership Group, who introduced the Tokolau Language Week events and part of the Tokolau Governance Group. Mr. Les Lehi Tenise Atoni, please come forward. Mrs. Marianne Hargreaves of Christchurch for services to the arts. Marianne Hargreaves has held creative and management positions within the Christchurch and New Zealand International Arts Festivals and the New Zealand Jazz and Blues Festival. She was arts advisor to the Arts Centre of Christchurch, where she established an Artist in Residence program. She took over management of Word Christchurch, transforming the local event into a national festival. She's an executive committee member of the Friends of the Christchurch Art Gallery, Te Puna o Waifetu. She was a founding member of the Physics Room Trust and an advisor for Object Space. Mrs. Hargreaves is a founding member and treasurer of the Christchurch Arts Audience Development Group. Mrs. Marianne Hargreaves, please come forward. Mr. Mark Sutton of Te Anau for services to conservation. Mark Sutton is a contracted field officer for the Waiau Fisheries and Wildlife Habitat Enhancement Trust and a regional representative for the Queen Elizabeth II National Trust, QE2. He's a New Zealand Game Bird Habitat Trust Board member. His approach focuses on habitat creation and enhancement to improve wildlife outcomes and land management and to improve water quality. His projects have included Waimatuku, Rakatu and the Waiau Mouth Whitebait Ponds. He has utilised direct seeding technology to plant native forests at scale. Mr. Sutton's work has helped connect protected land parcels in an emerging mountains to the sea continuum of protected waterways under the QE2 and Waiau trusts. Mr. Mark Sutton, please come forward. Mrs. Marama Tuta of Masterton for services to Maori and education. Marama Tuta represented Papa Waimarai in Treaty of Waitangi negotiations on behalf of Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairarapa Tamaki Nui Arua. She is a trustee of the Post-Settlement Governors Trust, was appointed as chairperson of the Whakapapa Committee, and was elected to the Iwi Investment Trust. She has been trustee and chairperson of Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairarapa and Wairarapa Moana Trust, director of the Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated, trustee of the health provider Whaiora, member of the Ngāti Kahungunu Executive Taiwhenua, and Wairarapa manager for Ikaroa Netball. Mrs. Tuta was principal of Masterton East School and co-director of Victoria University of Wellington's College of Education. Mrs. Marama Tuta, please come forward. Mr. Henry Van Thiel of Napier for services to the Coast Guard. Henry Van Thiel has volunteered with the Coast Guard across multiple roles. He's former president and current vice president of Hawke's Bay Volunteer Coast Guard. He was a member of the Eastern Region Board and president of the New Zealand Board. As Hawke's Bay Regional Instructor, he has taught and examined instructors to a continued high standard. He's delivered safety at sea education via the media, schools and community groups. Mr. Van Thiel has built positive relationships with local police and search and rescue partners, and is a go-to person for planning, organising and running searches, whether on the incident management team or as skipper, making himself available 24/7. Mr. Henry Van Thiel, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. David Clark of Arrowtown for services to heritage preservation. David Clark is Director of Lakes District Museum in Arrowtown. He has initiated major developments associated with the museum. He has curated more than 150 exhibitions and supported local artists. He's been an independent hearings commissioner and Arrowtown ward councillor. He advises on local issues and has worked to protect and restore heritage buildings. He promoted the protection of the Arrowtown Chinese village. He has coordinated hundreds of hours of oral history recording of Queenstown Lakes District citizens. Mr. Clark has been involved in numerous fundraising initiatives and has overseen construction of a new museum archive facility. Mr. David Clark, please come forward. Mrs. Vivian Morton of Porirua for services to the community. Vivian Morton was president of the Plunkett Committee in Parramatta. She led a team of 45 volunteers to raise $20,000 towards the building of the new Plunkett facility in Whitby. She began the Plunkett car seat rental service in Porirua and is a qualified child restraint technician and trainer. She is club president of Porirua City Aquatics and has coached club swimmers and run Learn to Swim sessions. Mrs. Morton was instrumental in re-establishing the Parumoana and Porirua inter-school swimming sports and chairs the Gold Coast Committee, leading her team to organise 7 swim meets each year. Mrs. Vivian Morton, please come forward. Mrs. Winnie Solomon of Riverton for services to Māori culture and heritage. Winnie Solomon, Te Arawa, has taught the art of raranga or flax weaving for more than 40 years. She has created korowai or cloaks, piu-piu skirts, kete baskets, and patterned wall panels or tuku-tuku for the local marae. She was a tutor of raranga with Te Wananga o Aotearoa at the Southland Institute of Technology. She has taught at marae, community centres, schools and holiday programs. She teaches the tikanga Māori practices associated with gathering, using and disposing of leftover flax and appropriate karakia and waiata. With her husband, Mrs. Solomon set up retail shops to sell Māori art. Mrs. Winnie Solomon, please come forward. Mrs. Heather Waldron of Tauranga for services to the community. Heather Waldron was the Tauranga Returned and Services Association's first female president. She has chaired the Welfare Committee, Welfare Trust, represented the RSA at funerals of members, organised Anzac Day events and Poppy Day collections, and ensured proper treatment of veterans with a hospital support group. She was president of the Bay of Plenty Justices of the Peace Association, working with others to set up new JP service desks in the community. She's an active member of a JP Association service centre. Mrs. Waldron is a volunteer and former executive member of Age Concern Tauranga. Mrs. Heather Waldron, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
Thank you very much. And congratulations again to all of the recipients. New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it's been a privilege to hear your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of your fellow New Zealanders. You have embodied the sentiment expressed by the great Nigerian playwright Wole Soyinka when he said, "Human life has meaning only as long as it is lived in the service of humanity." I urge the recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the King of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements and thank you once again for your service to our country. And I'd like to give a special word to all the family and friends who are here today. I know that our recipients could not have done it without your love and your support, so thank you also for your service to New Zealand. Kia ora, hui hui tātou katoa. You will see on the back of the programme the words to the national anthem in Te Reo Māori and English. I now invite you to stand and join with me in singing the anthem.